Welcome to True Blue Services, your trusted partner for top-notch electrical solutions. At True Blue, we pride ourselves on quality and reliability. With a 4-year warranty, you can rest easy knowing your electrical needs are in expert hands. Electrical vehicle charging stations, we're certified for Tesla and ChargePoint, installing thousands from top brands like Loop and Clipper Creek. Call 404-372-1916 or visit www.trueblueservicesga.com. Use
Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. I'm Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
And we are joined today by Chef Katrina.
Yes.
Thank you. Chef Katrina is an author, a speaker, and a female business mentor. In 2021, she co-founded the first ever female business education platform, Truth Bomb Academy, providing back to basic female business training while completely disrupting the male modeling of business that women have been experiencing their entire lives. Her mission is to create female millionaires. I'm all ears.
I know, right?
Thank you for joining us and welcome to Conversations with Karen and Kat. So we always ask, what was your why for creating the Truth Bomb Academy?
Oh, this is a good question. So first off, I'm super excited to be here and you guys are amazing and awesome. And thank you for being in a podcast that you're really empowering women and having fun with this all. Like you guys are brilliant. So just want to get that out of the way. So my why and why I created the Academy is based on 15 years of being in the business. I've been a digital marketer. I've been a course creator. I've been a coaching in the industry around that one. I've built out mentorship programs for companies. I've done a lot of different things. And honestly, I was getting frustrated. I was watching a lot of the training in the workshops that I was participating in, and I would see them talk about like time management. I would see them talking about business, and I would see these women that were like, how? They would literally be sitting there as we're going through this training, and you can just see in their minds and this upset that always came up. How do I put this into my life? How do I manage this with my kids, my husband, taking care of my parents, doing all the things that I want to do, and yet you're telling me I need to do this also. They were like breaking down in tears. And I was like, there's something that we're missing in the business training that's not connecting women to their purpose in such a way that they're actually experiencing the joy of having a business. Yeah. I think a lot of times now as I was meeting more and more women, they were wanting to build a business. They want to be able to not necessarily be millionaires, but they wanted that millionaire dollars to take care of their family, to go on those trips, to do more in their lives and feel like they're more of a contribution. That's why a lot of them got into their business. And yet they're being drained energetically. They're struggling to make it all work. They feel like they're always behind in the education and training, that they can't ever keep up with everything they're being told they have to do or should do. And so this really had me go looking deeper on what's been missing from our business training for women that needs to be put into place for that women to feel whole and complete around the business they're building. How do they learn to weave business and life together so that it's more seamless and not so disjointed as many of them were complaining about, honestly.
Yeah. Because
I love that. Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
The women's movement told us that we can have it all, right? We can have the job, the career, we can have the children, the husband, and that we can juggle all of this and do all of this while wearing heels and smiling and looking pretty with perfectly coiffed hair, right? But when you've got a lot of balls in the air, something's going to give. You can't be 100% in every. You can't be 100% in everything. So how do you help women like dealing with that, feeling like because if I want to be a parent who's involved, who's going to PTA, who's going to basketball games, soccer games, and I also want to have a business and I want to be there for my spouse. I don't think they can do it all. I want to hear your perspective.
So this is a great one, and I know Karen and our Kat and I have talked about this a couple of times. And this is one of the frustrations for me is that they want to have it all. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we had to really look at was the guys did a great job teaching us. You talked about the female movement, right? Mm-hmm. The guys did a great job teaching us what they know about how to build a business. What they can't teach us is how to be a woman in business.
Thanks. I love what you're about to drop, Queen. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the one thing the place I actually came back to for me was what makes us different in our approach to business, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the big things that I really uncovered was that men hormonally cycle in 24 hours. Their hormonal cycle is 24 hours. How much of our business training do we have that's built around a 24-hour workday, right? All of our time management is built around 24 hours. What can you do? A miracle morning. It's all being led by incredible men that are in their genius in a hormonal cycle that runs 24 hours. The male body completes the cycle. Done. Mm-hmm. That's why they're able to do something and forget about it. God bless them for being able to do that. Have you ever noticed us as women, we carry things on for days?
Yes.
Weeks, months.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. The reason being we do this is because our hormonal cycle, if you think about it, is 28 to 31 days. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We don't cycle in 24 hours. It doesn't work for us. Mm-hmm. Yet we're trying to mimic and model a male business format that wasn't designed to include
for us. Women.
Yeah. We weren't designed to be in the makeup of what they're teaching us. Mm-hmm. It doesn't fit how we feel. Yeah. So what we had to do was strip it down. All right, ladies, you have a female body, right? Do you know what it does? Do you even listen to it talking to you? Have you said good morning to your body when you wake up? Probably not.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. I promise you a guy, I don't know how X-rated I can go. I promise you a guy wakes up every morning and goes, hello, I'm all here. I know they do.
Right?
No shame, no nothing.
Mm-hmm. None whatsoever.
When you ask, what can a woman do to really have it all, have time with her family, have time with her children, have time with her spouse, the one thing we've discovered is that women are in different seasons and their business needs to be addressed to fit in the season of their life they're in.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right? So we definitely take care of different moments in our lives, whether we're single, with family, caretaker, whatever. So what we've been teaching, and I love this, I have a mom of 3, one of my favorite ones to work with. So she homeschools her 3 children. Mm-hmm. She just moved here from Trinidad and Tobago about a year ago. Mm-hmm. So she's up here with her 3 girls, her husband. She homeschools them. And she had this problem. She's like, I want to spend more time with my husband. I want to spend more time with my kids. I don't want to just have to be in here. And the crazy thing is that as we walked her through time magic, showing her how to get back to being a woman inside of her cycle and what works best for her, she's like, I now nap in the afternoons because I know I need the downtime and rest. And I don't beat myself up for it anymore.
About needing that nap.
That's hard.
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing. But she's like, when I realized that my kids got a better version of me and my husband got a better version of me when I took that time for myself, whether it was 10, 15 minutes, it was enough to reset her. Mm-hmm. Right. And that was a big aha for her. I've got other women that go through it and they're like, you know what? I work better in the morning. Some of my women say I work better in the afternoon. Some of my women say I work better late at night. Right. But when they start tracking their cycle, when they're in their genius and not trying to listen to a 24-hour time clock, they feel more confident in what they're doing. And because they're starting to see other women choose how their business and life goes. And they're starting to weave the needle through instead of trying to force something to happen.
I love that. And I know that it's science behind what you're teaching. With my therapist, with my mental health team, I had to start identifying my productivity hours. Because anybody who knows me, you hit me up before 12.
She is not a morning person.
That is not going to work. And you wonder why that productivity, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, when you're going to work to some punching somebody else's clock, even if you're going in and that's not the way in which you are productive, it may affect your income, how you perform on the job, and
Yeah.
actually how long you may stay on the job, whether you
Yeah.
quit or are terminated. So
Yeah.
it's science behind trying to tap into when is your peak productivity time. Could you also speak to, Katrina, the terminology and the words we use and how
Girl, you're heading down a
not
slippery slope with some of this. This is, yeah, Karen's like, what is she talking about? So
so
the
just,
other
just
thing we had
touch it.
yeah, the one thing we had to look at was the language of business planning doesn't actually connect to women. And what I mean by that is that we actually had to look around because women are feelers. So if you guys know the biology of the woman, right? We're actually made to experience the world of pleasure. We're meant to experience emotions. We're meant to experience movement. We're meant to be the yin to the yang that's out there, right? We're the flow to the action, right?
Yeah.
We're the creativity out there. So one of the things we had to look at was the language for women. When we started teaching time magic, women didn't like the word goals or achievements. It felt like they were on a path to have to do something. It just felt like more to do. So one of the things we had to shift in our language is that we moved from goals to intentions.
Okay.
What is your intention for today? What is your intended feeling for the week? And then we got them present to how they wanted to feel. Like when we help them plan it, every week we sit down and we work with the women to write out and plan and create their week. And then we specifically ask, how do you want to feel about what you have on your calendar? Because when you address the feeling for women, they actually feel more empowered going into their week. So that was a big piece that we had to shift. We've been shifting a lot of other language in there too, but intention was a big one. Getting back into the feeling of what we're building as women was another big one. The other one that we've been playing around with is the word pleasure. So when I ask a woman, what gives you pleasure? The thought process goes
Right.
completely south. I asked the whole room and they all giggled. And I was like, of course we do, ladies, because we assume pleasure is something we should experience in the bedroom. The crazy thing is, if you think about how women experience life, pleasure is I'm here with incredible sisters and we're spending time together. This brings me pleasure.
Yes.
And when we started taking back the words that have been used against us, like pleasure, sensuality, beauty, grace, and being bitchy, those words have come up to be used against us, but we've never defined them as females on how we want them used.
Right.
It's been told to us or given to us, but we don't
because they're feeling words.
Correct. And men don't do what well?
Feel.
Oh.
They're emotionally bankrupt, some are.
Yeah, and they're trying to get back in, but they don't know how to use the word. So until we as women take back our language and say, this is how we want it used, we've really had to shift that for a lot of women. And it's so funny because now we start things like, what is your pleasure? What brought you pleasure today? And it's been fun to kind of listen to women really start owning that word again. Right. And I love that because it's those little shifts. It's giving women back their language that we've been turned against or made feel bad about, how we use certain words. And it's no, that's not the case.
And I love
that. Feel.
I love that because with Karen and I, we are very intentional with our podcast.
Absolutely.
We're spiritually connected. And we enjoy or we find pleasure in each other's company, which is the birth of
this podcast.
Yep. Yes. And we are all about empowering. We want people, young people, seniors, our golden folks, everybody to feel empowered. And I love the program that you have because Karen always says the tongue gives you life or death. And having the power of your words, making you feel good. That is the first step, I believe, to any journey towards success. being a millionaire. Because if you're full of love, you're full of grace, you hold on to that. To me, you already starting off to be a great millionaire. But now let's dive into some numbers. Look, share with the audience how many women are millionaires and what's the roadmap to get to be one?
Okay, so the scary part around this is that women are joining the business world faster than ever before. There's like 43 to 45% of small businesses that are starting in the United States are by women. Like that stat is growing. And it points to something we said earlier, is that women do wake up at different times. They want more control of their life instead of just the 9 to 5, that structure that we've been forced, I guess, to live into, right? That doesn't serve who we are. So more and more women are getting into this. So you're talking about 43 to 45, and the stat changes every time they do the census because it increases when they look back at the numbers. Of that, 2% are millionaires. 2%. Less than that.
2% of the 43 to 45%.
Yeah, you're talking something like, I think it's like something like 23 million jobs or businesses are formed every single year by women. And yet less than 2% are making a millionaire status.
Wow.
And of that, I think there's only like 7% are hitting 6 figures.
Duh.
So with your program, when you're working with women, does it matter what type of business? Is your program applicable to all types of businesses?
Yeah, it is, because we deal with the woman.
Okay.
So we've taken so we start with the women, and we take them through a very detailed process of getting them back to their core value. One of the things that we discovered is that women aren't in touch with what they know conceptually up here what they want, but when we take them through the written process, they start to understand, really, they start seeing the same concepts come up over and over again. So then they get really present to why they're building their business and what they want from a business they want to be in.
Okay.
So we take them through that, and then we didn't change the structure of a business plan. We reimagined it for how women would receive the information so that it makes more sense for us, and we don't feel like guilt about not completing it in a certain time frame.
Okay.
So we still walk them through, like, okay, what is your product? Like, what problem are you addressing for your audience, right? We take them through, like, developing their story. What is your customer's journey? It's not about you. It's about the journey you're taking your customer on. What is your brand? And it's so funny what we had to do with branding. I'll tell you this little secret. We actually had to get women coloring. When we taught branding, everyone teaches branding like
some Crayola or some.
God, yeah, we get coloring books out, and we have a very specific coloring book that we use. We have very specific music that we play, and we tell them to bring their crayons and their pencils or their paint, whatever they want to do with. And we set aside 7 minutes, and we have them go to work. And I cannot tell you the breakthroughs women have in that 7 minutes of just doing the activity around their brand. It's like light bulbs go off. They have a complete shift in how they approach branding and business, because one of the things that we forget as women is that we're creators. Hello, we've birthed humanity. Birthed humanity. You don't think that takes some creative something out of this body?
Okay.
Come on. Right? And we don't create anymore as women. We don't sit there and color and dance and move and breathe anymore. Because we're such in this doing process. We stop women and say, okay, we are on 4th week. We're talking branding. Get your colored pencils. Get your markers. 7 minutes. Here's specific music. Here's a specific design. Pick your preference and do nothing but do that. And the crazy breakthrough, we've learned that women need to be moving and doing more creativity through their business process to understand what business they're in. This is what leading our moms to have breakthroughs around, okay, I know the business I want to have, but now's not the time to have it. So what can I do in the interim to prepare myself for that business once this season of my life is over? That shift is massive for women. Because it's, instead of feeling like you're failing at something, or you're trying to break through, or you're not spending time with your family or your husband or your spouse or your significant other, you're not taking care of your health, you're not going outside for a walk. Now they're like, oh,
maybe this is the season for this.
Yeah, this is my season for this. And when I slow down and can take that in, then I can block out all the noise and just
Yeah.
focus in on what makes sense for me, my family, and the season I'm
Yeah. And I get that because, if you have young children and you're trying to run a business, something's going to have to give.
in. Yeah.
Because you can't be all in the business and also be available to do everything that your kids are involved in or that they require. So some things your village is going to have to support you while you're
Mhm.
doing, running a business, starting a business, operating the business, being, whatever it is that you're doing in your professional world. Your village may have to pick up the slack at home.
That's right.
you know and so when you're in that season in your life when you have young children, it may just have to be, okay, I cannot be at every soccer game, I cannot be at every basketball game because I'm trying to do this business. And you got to understand what women have to understand, that
Yeah.
although you want to do all of that, sometimes it may not be feasible if you want to be present for the business and also be present for the children. Sometimes those two may not collide. May
And
not.
it's been interesting also around this too, because we really had to look at like who's on your team. Like when
Mm,
we talk about a business plan, we talk about who's on your team. And it was
mm,
crazy the last time, because we make little tweaks every time we run through the program, because every woman actually kind of adds a little bit more. Like that didn't land right. This didn't make sense to
okay.
me. So every woman literally holds the key to unlocking another woman. That's the beauty of unlocking my
Wow.
money.
I love it. Say that again. Say that again.
Every woman holds the key to unlocking another woman's millions. So that's why we
T-shirt.
call it unlocking my millions, because you hold a key, you'll say something that unlocks something for me,
Yeah.
I will then learn something and say something that unlocks another woman, and together we're unlocking millions. So
Okay.
it's
Hey,
not just the financial, it's who we are as a collaborative and a collective of women in business.
amen.
Okay.
I love
So
it.
yeah, so one of the interesting things around who's on your team is who's on your village, right? We do it does take a village to raise the family.
Mm-hmm.
Women have been in this state where I can do it all myself. I can raise my kids. I don't need a man. I don't need this. And the more we teach that one, the more cut off we are from our sisters.
And to what end? Like,
Your
what
health.
toll? Yes. What toll does that take on you to do
Yeah.
all of these things by yourself with no help?
Yeah.
You can run your engine at
Right.
130 something miles an hour, right? If
Mm-hmm.
your car has that capability. But when you do that, you only can run that fast for so long before you blow that engine.
That's
Our
right.
bodies are an engine. So
That's
if you keep on, you know, giving and pouring out everything and these other aspects of your life, something's going to get neglected. And most often for women, we
It,
neglect ourselves, our
yep.
mental health, our physical health. We,
It's
yeah.
crucial.
yeah.
We really do need to step back into our own bodies again. We need to be really celebrating the body we live in and stop shaming it and saying, I wish I looked younger. I have a wrinkle. My hair is this, this, this. That, what we tell ourselves, what the media, what
Yeah.
marketing
Yeah.
tells us is what women want, is such a farce. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
talk to women, we know what we want, but we're being told we have to look, be, act a certain way. And it's like, no, women, just start. I love going out. I tell you right now, I love going out. I'll find a woman anywhere and I will start complimenting women. Like that has been my mission, is to go out and I'll see anybody and I'll be like, girl, you look fabulous in that. Or, oh my God. Like I compliment shoes, hair, clothes, everything. Because I
Yeah.
realize that if I want to be the change, I have to start complimenting women too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to
It's so
compliment ourselves. I heard a woman say once that if we talk to our friends the way that we talk to ourselves, we would
Mm,
never have any friends,
mm,
because we'll say to ourselves, "Ooh, look at my belly. I'm guilty of this.
yeah,
Look at this. This needs to be bigger. This should be smaller.
mm,
I need this needs to be fixed." And we would
mm.
never say those things to our girlfriends, but we say it
Right.
to ourselves.
We are.
We have to start being kind to ourselves before we can be kind to other people.
We are our worst enemy because, like you said, social media, not even social media,
Media.
media, period, tells you you're supposed to, like the kids say, beat your face, or, you can't show any gray, or you can't you have to stay young.
Yes.
And what is
Young and picture ready.
right. Anti-aging is death. Think about that. Who wants to stop aging? Because unless anybody literally has gotten a drink of water and you look like you're a vampire and you're stuck in an age, right? You have to grow. So embrace it. And we, like y'all said, we need to tell one another. And I always compliment somebody. Their hair, their clothes, their whatever, just their skin. You know, it is funny because I took that picture the other day with and my stomach was sticking out. And I said, "Ooh, look at my stomach." And the Gen Z, the millennial said, "Oh, girl, you could just do a Photoshop and just swipe that out." I was like, "All righty then, let me get that app. Let me do that," But we need to be comfortable in our skin.
Yes.
And once you're comfortable with who you see in the mirror, and you and your 3 best friends on top of God, that's already understood. But me, myself, and I gotta be your best friends. They gotta laugh at your jokes. You gotta enjoy your own company. You gotta give yourself good gifts, because you can't look outward for all of that love. Because no one is responsible for your happiness but you.
But you.
And when your love cup is full, everything that overflows is for everybody else. And we have to start doing that. And I think when you love on yourself, it's really easy for you to love on somebody else. But that's why, sometimes I say hi to people who they don't say hi back. I say hi to myself. I go, "Hey, Catherine, it's nice to see you." And then they'll say, "Oh, hi." No, it's okay. Blessings on you. So I love that it sounds like your organization creates a sisterhood. Is that what I'm hearing? A sisterhood.
It is.
When you talk about your retreat program that you have and some other programs that you offer, but talk about that one.
So the retreat programs, and this is something we've been developing. What's really interesting is that we just got access to a multi-million-dollar mansion that we can use. Oh yeah, it's here in Georgia. We have a good friend that I met, and she's like, "Come over and check this place out." And she's like, "We should host retreats here." And I was like, "Okay, like this would be fun." So
and what's the date?
We're confirming dates because we have to go through the process of making sure we can have the property for that weekend and everything else. So the idea behind this is really to get women together. We want them working through that emotional, that self-awareness, that beauty, that love piece. So the retreats are really around your business, but collaboration around your business. It's about having those real talks, but also a lot of the self-love that we often neglect as women, and then finding our way forward from that. So each weekend builds on each other is our goal, is that it ascends women. It literally takes them wherever they're at and has them rise through the process of being their best self, and no matter what season they're in. The season for me is really important as a woman, as I've discovered. So yeah. The other thing we do is Unlocking My Million. So that's our premier course. And that is for teaching women how to be millionaires. Like that takes them through like what I shared with you guys around the coloring, the branding, the marketing, building your team, developing not your product, knowing your cash management. I think so many times women are fearful of the cash side of their business. And we've learned that many of us, even successful businesses, don't have a cash management system in place. So that was a big piece for us. And then time magic. Teaching women how to create time instead of manage time. Those are the 3 like foundational pieces of the Truth Mom Academy.
I love that. Can you give one last little snippet? I know people, your podcast and your social media handles, I was listening to you talk about bank accounts. You talked about, just give a little bit about that, because I was like, boom, that was like amazing, that tip.
So real quick, because I know we're short on time, most of us work out of one bucket as a business. And when we look at one bucket, one bank account, we think we have money in there. One of the things that we started teaching was to have you set up multiple bank accounts so that you could have money for taxes, money for your business expenses, money for your owner's compensation, paying yourself out, and then a profit account so you get bonuses. And when money comes in is directed to where it needs to go in bank accounts, then you only focus on, this is my income account, this is my expense account, what are my expenses, what do I have to cover? The rest of the money has its own designation so that you are always in profit and you're paying yourself as part of the process.
Love it. I think that's the bomb takeaway, because like you said, money money intimidates some women,
Yes.
and we don't want to face that piece. And then that hinders us to get to that millionaire status.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a book that I read years ago. Oh gosh, I wish I remembered the name of it. But it was about women being in business, and it was a similar tip to that about the business, about the different accounts.
Yeah.
And it recommended like have a savings account where a certain percentage went into savings for the business. You have an operating account, you have a tax account, and I think like maybe a payroll account.
Yeah.
Um,
It
so
depends
in
on
it,
your business, how you set up those accounts.
yes,
One of the books that we've been mimicking, I like really modeling, is a book called Profit First by
Okay.
Mike Michalowicz. It's a phenomenal book. Read through the whole thing. Don't think you can get started like we did and try to implement it and then go, oh, we should probably finish reading the book. Yeah, that was a learning process. That was good.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now let everyone know how they can get in contact with you.
So the best way to get in contact with us is honestly, we are primarily on YouTube. That is our home base. So YouTube for us is where we do our lives, where we do our shorts, where we do a lot of our training. And then our second best place to find us is on our website, YouTube, truthbombmarketing.com. That's where you'll always find us. And that's where you'll get to see myself and my other two business partners.
Okay. And they can find all of your contact information. It will be on our website when the episode posts. But they can also go to your website and get through to your social medias because you are you're on YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So make sure that you go to truthbombmarketing.com to find out more about how you can unlock female business, become a millionaire, because I want to be a millionaire.
Hello.
I want to be a millionaire. I am declaring it right now.
Yes. We are declaring that right now. We don't change that less than 2-3%. You still got me boggled with that. We're gonna bring that up to 30%. 50%.
We've got to get that up to like at least 30% in minimum for women. There's no reason why we are not stepping into that. And I will just tell you something. I know we're wrapping up here. One of the most interesting things I've heard recently talking to a lot of businessmen in different areas is that they're actually requesting this information to be taught to women. They've recognized that they are not effective with women in their training. And they're actively seeking women that are teaching women a women business style. And so it's really interesting when you talk to them, they're like, I really wish a woman would teach or women would teach women how to be in business and stop listening to us because it doesn't work for them. If you go to a main event or a business, 70% of the audience is women, and they're failing in taking that information and putting it into action. 43% of them are burning out from the information they're getting. It's not okay anymore that we continue to follow their training thinking it's what's best for us instead of looking at how do women differ and what's best for us and how we build businesses. We need the yin, we need the yang. We can't just be in the yang.
I know that's right. Girl, you said enough right there, I tell you.
So, Chef Katrina, this is usually a cat question, but what do you do for self-care?
I dance. I love to dance. So for me, that movement, whether it's dancing in my house or just going out, but my self-care is movement. I've discovered I can't still meditation sort of worked for me, but where I find my ultimate peace is in the listening to music and movement.
Yes.
What type of dance?
What kind of dance?
Yeah.
So I was a ballroom dancer, so still a ballroom dancer. So I love the Viennese waltz. I love the foxtrot, and I love salsa. I love the cha-cha because it's fast paced. So I love anything that gets my body to move.
That gets you moving. I love it.
Yes, honey. I know that's right. Well, sign us up. We need to go dancing, honey.
I watch y'all.
You know what's interesting about dancing real quick is that you can't, as a woman, follow the man unless you choose to. It's actually permission-based dance. If he steps forward, you do not have to step back. It's
Mm.
interesting they teach that. It's fascinating when you start looking at how when men and women or partners dance
Mhm.
on the floor. We have to
Mhm.
balance each other or it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
that's a
true.
great metaphor for life.
Hello, t-shirt. You got that right. You got that right. Yep. I love that because since I learned how to dance with Fred Astaire Dance Studio, you're absolutely right. And they're like, you can't just throw your weight or y'all will fall. You still
Okay.
got to hold yourself as you lean back. So you do need to work on those six pack, the abs, because honey,
Mhm.
in the back, I'm like, whoa, but it's great exercise, cardio,
Mhm.
and all that stuff. And it's just fun. So I love that too. We definitely have to go dancing. So I appreciate you today, girl. You dropped some nuggets for all of us
Yes.
to turn out to. And then you do have a freebie on your website. I signed up for that.
Uh,
Yes, we do. We have the female millionaire code, and we take you through the 3 elements of unlocking your female millionaire code. And it's just the start of your journey, but it is enough to make you understand that you don't have to be all do all in your business. And the more you simplify your business and find your flow, the more you'll hit millionaire status faster.
Amen.
okay. And again, you can reach Chef Katrina at truthbombmarketing.com. That's truth, TRUTHBOMB marketing.com.
Yes.
Chef Katrina, thank you so much for joining us on Conversations with Karen and Kat. We we're all about empowerment and information because information is power.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thank you for targeting women to
Mhm.
empower and inform them.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yes. And thank you for being our guest to kick off Women's Month. What better
Yes,
way to start off with you being a
yes.
millionaire? Look, with Chef Katrina.
I need to go. I need to go. I got your website up. I need to go sign up because I look. I need to.
Come and play.
I need to be a millionaire.
That's
Come
right.
play in the playground. We call it a playbook that you design for your business. It's not a blueprint, it's a playbook because it changes as you do your business.
That's
All
right.
right.
Love it. All
Yes.
right.
Come play.
As always, thank you for joining us on this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Where we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.